ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshetarine. जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्णा. शिल्पी माता जी. Okay, so we will start. Yeah, so we were reading about these three modes and how the mode of goodness is most uh, like superior to the next rest of the modes, and why it is important to come in the mode of goodness. Okay, that was important discussion, because like this verse said that firewood is there, but smoke is better than raw wood, and fire is still better, because in when we will lit fire we can derive the benefits of superior knowledge through sacrifices. So similarly, goodness is best. If somebody is in ignorance, that's a difficult situation, but someone is more affected by rajas, then that's better. And then if somebody is affected by goodness more, then that's best, because then they are ready to receive the transcendental knowledge. Like Arjuna was in mode of goodness, right? Because he knew the Shastras. He was giving all the arguments based on Shastras, that why he doesn't want to fight, right? So he had that knowledge. He was in, of course, he was a pure devotee of Lord, because he's Nara from Nara Narayan Rishi, right? So he's like eternal associate of the Lord. But for our sake, he was displaying this ignorance. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Yeah, so that's why we need to understand the importance of mode of goodness, and slowly start molding our life toward mode of goodness, and observe ourselves that where we slip into passion, where do we slip into ignorance, and then accordingly, slowly. And there is no mechanical method. As much as we remain Krishna conscious, that much we will, actually we are aspiring for the transcendence basically. So with this understanding, previously great sages have served personality of Godhead, right? So since we are aspiring for transcendence, so Prabhupada, by his causeless mercy to all of us, he just gave this path of devotional service. Directly we can, get connected with Krishna through chanting, hearing, reading about Krishna, and dedicating every work of our day for Krishna's pleasure, for Krishna's service. by improving the quality of work, by dealing in a compassionate and empathic way with the people. So that way we try to offer our offerings to Krishna by making whole day Krishna conscious and making the best use of bad bargain. so so now let's move on. Those who are serious about, so yeah, I was telling about this 25th verse that um, the previously sages have directly rendered service to personality of Godhead, and they if we follow such great authorities, we become eligible for liberation from the material world. So liberation means mukti. Mukti from what? The miseries of material world, right? But Krishna consciousness is not only about mukti. It is freedom from the misery plus bliss of Krishna's service. That's a double benefit. Okay, so let's move on to text 26. So today my plan is, yeah, we will try to read as much as we can, and then I'll not speak probably, because I feel sometimes that this is important, because many of us, sometimes don't know certain terminologies or what it is being spoken there. So that's why I feel a need to explain. But in that case, I'm seeing that we are not able to cover many verses. Like we are just we are covering 2 or 3 verses every time we meet. So let's see whatever works. Yes, Prabhu, do you want to read the Sanskrit as well? Okay, you are not available for
So,
reading.
sorry, no, I can try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, mumuksa mukstava ghora rupan hetva bhutan patin atah narayana kala santa bhajanti he anashuva.
Yeah, just a,
Anasu.
a quick comment that this, when you say CS with this little, I don't know what it is called, but this is sh. Okay, sh shakkar. And when you see a dot below S, then this is sh shatkon. And when you see a bar over A or I or something, then this is the long form of that. Yes.
Shanta. This is
Shanta.
Shanta. Oh,
Yes, yes. Mm.
all right. So, synonyms: Mumu Keshava, person,
Mumukshavaha, mumukshavaha.
Mumukshava, persons desiring liberation. Ghora, horrible, ghastly. Rupan, forms like that. Hitva, rejecting. Bhuta, patin, demigods. Ata, for this reason. Narayana, the personality of Godhead. Kala, plenary portions. Shantaha, all blissful. Bhajanti, do worship. He, certainly. Ana, Anashuva, Anashuya,
Anasuyavaha, Anasuyavaha.
Anasuyavaha, not
Anusuya
envious.
means envy.
Non-envious. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Those who are serious about liberations are certainly non-envious, and they respect all. Yet they reject the horrible and ghastly forms of the demigods and worship only the all-blissful forms of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portions. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, who is the original persons of the Vishnu categories, expand himself into different categories, namely integrated plenary portions and separated parts and parcels. The separated parts and parcels are the servitors, and the integrated plenary portions of Vishnu Tattva are the worshipful objects of service. All demigods who are empowered by the Supreme Lord are also separated parts and parcels. They do not belong to the categories of Vishnu Tattva. The Vishnu Tattva are living beings equally as powerful as the original form of the personality of Godhead, and they display different categories of power in consideration of different times and circumstances. The separated parts and parcels are powerful by limitations. They do not have unlimited power like the Vishnu Tattva. Therefore, one should never classify the Vishnu Tattva or the plenary portions of Narayana, the personality of Godhead, in the same categories with the parts and parcels. If anyone does so, he becomes at once an offender of the name Pashandi.
Pashandi.
In the age of Kali, many foolish persons commit such unlawful offences and equalize the two categories. The separated parts and parcels have different positions in the estimation of material powers, and some of them are like Kala Bhairava, Shamshana,
Shmashan Bhairav.
Shamshan Bhairav, Shani, Mahakali, and Chandika. These demigods are worshipped mostly by those who are in the lowest category of the mode of darkness or ignorance. Other demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Surya, Ganesha, and many similar deities are worshipped by the men in the mode of passion, urged on by the desire for material enjoyment. But those who are actually situated in the mode of goodness, Sattva Guna, of material nature, worship only Vishnu Tattvas. Vishnu Tattvas are represented by various names and forms, such as Narayana, Damodara, Vamana, Govinda, and Adhokshuja. The qualified Brahmans worship the Vishnu Tattva represented by the Shaligrama Shila, and some of the higher caste, like the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, also generally worship the Vishnu Tattvas. Hi- Highly qualified Brahmins situated in the mode of goodness have no grudges against the mode of worship of others. They have all respect for other demigods, even though they may look ghastly, like Kal Bhairava or Mahakali. They know very well that these horrible features of the Supreme Lord are all different servitors of the Lord under different conditions. Yet they reject the worship of both horrible and attractive features of the demigods, and they concentrate only on the forms of Vishnu because they are serious about liberation from the material condition. The demigods, even to the stage of Brahma, the supreme of all the demigods, cannot offer liberation to anyone. Hiranyakashipu underwent a severe type of penance to become eternal in life, but his worshipful deity Brahma could not satisfy him with such blessings. Therefore, Vishnu and none else is called Mukti Pada, or the personality of Godhead, who can bestow upon us mukti, liberation. The demigods, being like other living entities in the material world, are all liquidated at the time of any annihilation of material structure. They are themselves unable to get liberation, and what to speak of giving liberation to their devotees. The demigods can award the worshippers some temporary benefits only and not the ultimate one. It is for this reason only that candidates for liberation deliberately reject the worship of the demigods, although they have no respect for any of them.
Mm. Yes, those who are serious, they are certainly non-envious and they respect all. Yeah, yet they reject. Okay,
Mm.
so we will not discuss this probably. I mean, we will discuss everything towards the end. Is that okay for everyone?
Yes, Mataji, for me it's fine.
Okay,
Yes, Mataji.
okay. So we will continue 1 to 27. Anybody else wants to read? So I'll take this and then maybe others can continue after this. Rajastama prakriti yaha samashila bhajanti vai पितृभूत प्रजेशादीन श्रीयेश्वर्य प्रजेस्पवः रजः mode of passion, tama the mode of ignorance, prakriti of that mentality, samashilah of the same categories, bhajanti do worship, vai actually, pitra the forefathers, bhuta other living beings, prajesha controllers of cosmic administration, Shriya, enrichment, Aishwarya, wealth and power, Praja, progeny, Ipsavaha, so desiring. Translation. Those who are in the mode of passion and ignorance worship those in the same category, namely the forefathers, other living beings, and the demigods who are in charge of cosmic activities, for they are urged by a desire to be materially benefited with woman, wealth, power, and progeny. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There is no need to worship demigods of whatsoever category if one is serious about going back to Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 7:20 and 23, it is clearly said that those who are mad after material enjoyment approach the different demigods for temporary benefits, which are meant for men with a poor fund of knowledge. We should never desire to increase depth of material enjoyment. Material enjoyment should be accepted only up to the point of bare necessities of life and not more or less than that. To accept more material enjoyment means to bind oneself more and more to the miseries of material existence. More wealth, more women, and false aristocracy are some of the demands of materially disposed man because he has no information of the benefit derived from Vishnu worship. By Vishnu worship, one can derive benefit in this life as well as in life after death. Forgetting these principles, foolish people who are after more wealth, more wives, and more children worship various demigods. The aim of life is to end the miseries of life and not to increase them. For material enjoyment, there is no need to approach the demigods. The demigods are but servants of the Lord. As such, they are duty bound to supply necessities of life in the form of water, light, air, etc. One should work hard and worship the Supreme Lord by the fruits of one's hard labor for existence, and that should be motto of life. One should be careful to execute occupational service with faith in God in proper way, and that will lead one gradually on the progressive march back to Godhead. Lord Shri Krishna, when he was personally present at uh, Vrajadham, stopped the worship of demigod Indra and advised the residents of Vraja to worship by their business and to have faith in God. Worshipping the multi demigods for material gain is practically a perversity of religion. This sort of religious activity has been condemned in very beginning of Bhagavatam as Kaitava Dharma. There is only one religion in the world to be followed by one and all, that is the Bhagavad Dharma, or religion which teaches one to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead and no one else. Wow, such a heavy verse and really to the point. Very nice. Okay, so let's move on to the next. Okay, 28, 29.
I can read, Mataji.
Okay, yes, please go ahead, Mataji.
Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakha, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriya, Vasudeva Paramnyanam, Vasudeva Param Tapaha, Vasudeva Parodharmo, Vasudeva Paragati. Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, Paraha, the ultimate goal, Vedaha, revealed scriptures, Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, Paraha, for worshipping, Makaha, sacrifices, Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, Paraha, the means of attaining, Yoga, mystic paraphernalia, Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, Para, under his control, Kriya, fruitive activities, Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, Param, the supreme Jnanam, knowledge, Vasudeva, personality of Godhead, Param, best, Tapaha, austerity, Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, Paraha, superior quality, Dharma, religion, Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, Paraha, ultimate, Gatihi, goals of life. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. In the revealed scriptures, the ultimate object of knowledge is Śrī Kṛṣṇa, the personality of Godhead. The purpose of performing sacrifice is to please Him. Yoga is for realizing Him. All fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by Him only. His supreme knowledge and all severe austerities are performed to know Him. Religion, dharma, is rendering loving service unto Him. He is the supreme goal of life. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. That Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is the only object of worship is confirmed in these two shlokas. In the Vedic literature, there is the same objective, establishing one's relationship and ultimately reviving our lost loving service unto Him. That is the sum and substance of the Vedas. In the Bhagavad Gita, the same theory is confirmed by the Lord in his own words. The ultimate purpose of the Vedas is to know Him only. All the revealed scriptures are prepared by the Lord through His incarnation in the body of Srila Vyasadeva, just to remind the fallen souls conditioned by material nature of Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. No demigod can award freedom from the material bondage. That is the verdict of all the Vedic literature. Impersonalists who have no information of the personality of Godhead minimize the omnipotency of the Supreme Lord and put him on equal footing with all other living beings. And for this act, such impersonalists get freedom from material bondage only with great difficulty. They can surrender unto him only after many, many births in the culture of transcendental knowledge. One may argue that the Vedic activities are based on sacrificial ceremonies. That is true, but all such sacrifices are also meant for realizing the truth about Vasudeva. Another name of Vasudeva is Yagna, sacrifice. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that all sacrifices and all activities are to be conducted for the satisfaction of Yagna or Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. This is the case also with the yoga system. Yoga means to get in touch with the Supreme Lord. The process, however, includes several bodily features such as asana, dhyana, pranayama, and meditation, and all of them are meant for concentrating upon the localized aspect of Vasudeva, represented as Paramatma. Paramatma realization is but partial realization of Vasudeva, and if one is successful in that attempt, one realizes Vasudeva in full. But by ill luck, most yogis are stranded by the powers of mysticism achieved through the bodily process. Ill-fated yogis are given a chance in the next birth by being placed in the families of good learned brahmanas or in the family of rich merchants in order to execute the unfinished task of Vasudeva realization. If such fortunate brahmanas, if such fortunate brahmanas and son of rich men properly utilize the chance, they can easily realize Vasudeva by good association with saintly persons. Unfortunately, such preferred persons are captivated again by material wealth and honor, and thus they practically forget the aim of life. This is also so far the culture of knowledge. According to Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 items in culturing knowledge. By such culture of knowledge, one become gradually prideless, devoid of vanity, non-violent, forbearing, simple, devoted to the great spiritual master, and self-controlled. By culture of knowledge, one becomes unattached to hearth and home and become conscious of the miseries due to death, birth, old age, and disease. And all culture of knowledge culminates in devotional service to the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. Therefore, Vasudeva is the ultimate aim in culturing all different branches of knowledge. Culture of knowledge leading one to the transcendental plane of meeting Vasudeva is real knowledge. Physical knowledge in its various branches is considered condemned in the Bhagavad Gita as ajnana or the opposite of real knowledge. The ultimate aim of physical knowledge is to satisfy the senses, which means prolongation of the term of material existence and thereby continuance of the threefold miseries. So, prolonging the miserable life of material existence is nescience, but the same physical knowledge leading to the way of the spiritual understanding helps one to end the miserable life of physical existence and to begin the life of spiritual existence on the plane of Vasudeva. The same applies to all kind of austerities. Tapasya means voluntary acceptance of bodily pains to achieve some higher end of life. Ravana and Hiranyakashipu underwent a severe type of bodily torture to achieve the end of sense gratification. Sometimes modern politicians also undergo severe types of austerities to achieve some political end. This is not actually tapasya. One should accept voluntary bodily inconvenience for the sake of knowing Vasudeva, because that is the way of real austerities. Otherwise, all forms of austerities are classified as more of passion and ignorance. Passion and ignorance cannot end the miseries of life. Only the modes of goodness can mitigate the threefold miseries of life. Vasudeva and Devaki, the so-called father and mother of Lord Krishna, underwent penance to get Vasudeva as their son. Lord Sri Krishna is the father of all living beings. Bhagavad Gita point 14.4. Therefore, he is the original living beings to all other living beings. He is the original eternal enjoyer amongst all other enjoyers. Therefore, no one can be his begetting father. As the ignorant may think, Lord Sri Krishna agreed to become the son of Vasudeva and Devaki upon being pleased with their severe austerities. Therefore, if any austerities have to be done, they must be done to achieve the end of knowledge, Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the original personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. As explained before, the original personality of Godhead expands himself by innumerable forms. Such expansion of forms is made possible by his various energies. His energies are also multifarious, and his internal energies are superior and external energies inferior in quality. They are explained in the Bhagavad Gita 7.4 to 6 as the para and the apara prakritis. So, his expansion of various forms which take place via the internal energies are superior forms, whereas the expansion which take place via the external energies are called inferior forms. The living entities are also his expansion. The living entities who are expanded by his internal potency are eternally liberated persons, whereas those who are expanded in the form of the material energies are eternally conditioned souls. Therefore, all the culture of knowledge, austerities, sacrifice, and activity should be aimed at changing the quality of the influence that is acting upon us. For the present, we are all beings controlled by external energy of the Lord, and thus, to change the quality of the influence, we must endeavor to cultivate spiritual energy. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that those who are Mahatmas, or those whose minds have been so broadened as to be engaged in the service of the Lord Krishna, are under the influence of the internal potency. And the effect is that such broad minded living beings are constantly engaged in the service of the Lord without deviation. That should be the aim of life, and that is the verdict of all the Vedic literature. No one should bother himself with fruitive activities or dry speculation about transcendental knowledge. Everyone should at once engage himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Nor should one worship different demigods who work as different hands of the Lord for creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world. There are innumerable powerful demigods who look over the external management of the material world. They are all different assisting hands of Lord Vasudeva. Even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are included in the list of demigods, but Lord Vishnu or Vasudeva is always transcendently situated. Even though he accepts the quality of goodness of the material world, he is still transcendental to all the material modes. The following example will clear that matter more explicitly. In the prison house, there are the prisoners and the managers of the prison house. Both the managers and the prisoners are bound by the laws of the king, but even though the king sometimes comes in the prison, he is not bound by the law of the prison house. The king is therefore always transcendental to the laws of the prison house, as the Lord is always transcendental to the law of the material world.
Hari
Thank
bol.
you, Mataji.
It was such a long purport. Wow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I mean, although we wanted to cover more than 3 verses, but look
Yeah.
at the purport. It
Srila
was
Prabhupada
easily.
listened to you, Mataji.
No, I wanted to do more than 3 verses today. But that's okay. I mean, this is all about glory of Krishna. So it doesn't matter how many verses we cover. It's just my haste to, complete the chapters. But it's okay. I mean, whatever is sanctioned for us, that's best. Because this is wonderful purport. I'm really like wondering how much Srila Prabhupada is able to write in glory of Krishna. How much, right? That's so amazing. I mean, we can lose our patience while reading or hearing, but he is writing all this. This was manual transcript. So it's so amazing that we are in shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So we may not have those qualities like him, but by following in his footsteps, we hope to cultivate to some degree those qualities. Yeah, so we can just go back quickly. So again, 3 verses for today. So yeah, this verse I wanted to just say quickly that uh, so there are plenary portions and portions of the portions, right? So plenary portions that are direct means expansions of Krishna on the same plane, right? So they are Vishnu Tattvas. Okay, but there are separated parts and parcels which are servitors, right? So in this particular verse, which is 25, I guess 26, so here it is being told that what are the Vishnu tattvas like Rama, Varaha, Narsimha, Damodar, Govinda, Adhokshaja, all these, right? But what are the separated parts? They are the these Kal Bhairav, Smashan Bhairav, Shani, Mahakali, Chandika. So all these we have seen in India, right? But we did not have this understanding at that time, and still many people believe that all gods are on same level. But here Prabhupada has clearly said, and he's not saying on his own, he is like saying on the basis of Shastras, although he may not give reference every time, because otherwise every line, every other line will have a reference. But we can easily believe that he is telling it from the Shastras, because we see so many references that he quotes. So he is saying that if those people who keep Vishnu Tattvas and these material separated parts as equal, they are called as Pashandi, or they are pretenders basically, because they don't know the essence. Tattva means what? The essence, right? So they don't know the essence of Krishna at all. And to date, we hear many people saying that, oh, all gods are equal, all gods are equal, all gods are equal. There is one God only, right? There are not so many gods, right? They are called as gods because the goal or their purpose is same as Krishna's, to bring the conditioned souls at the lotus feet of Krishna. Their purpose is this same. That's why they are also sometimes referred as Bhagavan. But Krishna is the supreme. That's why I was many times wondering that what does Prabhupada means when he says Godhead. So he's the head of all the demigods. So that's why he's called a supreme personality of Godhead, right? So all these things are worth noting for us, that we make that distinction. And but still at the same time, Prabhupada has said that these the verse itself says that those who are serious about liberation are non-envious. Non-envious means what? That they don't envy the believers of other demigods, right? Because many people have their own experiences, like I shared some time back in Bhakti Vriksha also, that one lady told me that we cannot consider Krishna as our worship, completely like supreme worshipable deity, because we had some very intimate experiences of Sai Baba's mercy, and we can never forget. So they are being grateful. But see, now from the example of Mahabharata, we know that Karna was also very grateful to Duryodhan, because he gave him position, power, and whatnot, right? Similarly, materialistic people, when they gain something materialistic by praying to particular deity, then they become obliged to that deity, and they say that, okay, we will just worship them. But they are still not understanding the tattva, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7 that whatever demigods are giving, that is sanctioned by Krishna, then only they can give, otherwise they cannot, right? And we do have faith in Krishna's words. Otherwise, what's the use of even studying all these things if we don't have faith in Krishna's words, right? So Krishna says that. So the people have not thoroughly read the scriptures. Even I had not read. I only came to know about these things when I read these scriptures. So therefore, it is extremely, extremely important for us to read the scriptures on a regular basis to, clear our understanding properly, so that we can respect the demigods and we can worship Krishna. So we go to the temples, and even if there are demigods, we offer them respect. And as I said earlier also from teachings of Prabhupada, that we request them to show us the way to Krishna's lotus feet and improve our devotional service to Krishna. And that way they also feel very happy. Okay. And then also Prabhupada discussed about these deities in 3 modes, right? So people who like in mode of passion, they worship those deities, right? Mahakali, Chandi, and Mahakal Bhairav and Smashan Bhairav. So they offer some meat and flesh, to those deities, and then they take the prasadam later. Some people worship demigods like Brahma, right? So all these deities are like those who are in mode of passion, right? But Vishnu tattvas are being worshipped by the people in mode of goodness. Yeah, so they respect all, yet they reject the horrible and ghastly forms of demigods. So actually they respect in what sense? That they know that all these demigods are also servants of Supreme Lord. So indirectly worship is going to Supreme Lord. But then why indirectly? Right? We should do direct worship. So therefore they don't worship all these forms, although they respect all, right? So that's what we have to learn from these pure devotees. Okay, so yeah, that mostly I wanted to discuss this verse, but rest of the verses are also based on this, where Prabhupada is explaining how the people who are in mode of good passion and ignorance worship the demigods in same category, and mostly they are after woman, wealth, power, and progeny. But then this last verse, which we read today, is actually now telling that what point was going to be established after discussion of all these modes and deities in different presiding deities of different modes, people in different modes, their worship. What was the ultimate goal? Is to bring us to this level that Vasudev is everything. What is all? That his ultimate object of knowledge, right? Then he's the purpose of performing sacrifice. Then yoga is for realizing him. All fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by him. As I just said, that we think that this demigod is giving me this, but ultimately Krishna is the rewarder. And all severe austerities are performed to know him. And all religion is rendering loving service unto him. This is the supreme goal of, he is the supreme goal of life. So everything what we are doing is actually should be directed toward his pleasure. That's most important thing. Okay. I'm sorry. A lot of time today. But yeah, if anybody has anything quick, we can, discuss that. Otherwise, we can just end the call here. Long time today. It's very long purport. So anything? Yeah, but I guess that they are self-explanatory. But yeah, if anything comes up, you can put in the group also. Thank you all very much. So I'll see you on Thursday. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna Mata.
Kripa Sindhubhyo Patitanam
Pavanam
Pavanebhyo.
Hare Krishna Namah.
Hare Krishna, Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna.
Beta. Hare Bol.
Krishna.